And welcome to another video in mental and emotional well-being. We've spoken about coping mechanisms, we've spoken about healing, but what about those who find it difficult to heal? Let's have a look at what they are going through. Many of the youth may experience emotional problems and they are unable to voice it or to share it with anybody. They resort punish themselves for what they are feeling. And if they can't take it out on anybody else, they will hurt themselves. Some of the issues that I've been dealing with is youth cutting themselves, taking a blade, making small incisions anywhere on the body, particularly where it can't be seen, maybe on the thighs, on the arms, and on the body itself. It is very, very sad to see those things. Some of them as simple as just pinching them. It leaves blue marks, but it is still a sign of desperation, saying that I cannot find help. I cannot vocalize what I feel. I don't know who to share my problems with. And thus, I'm punishing myself for what I'm going through. Whether I'm guilty or not, I am punishing myself. These poor children may resort to bulimia, eating as much as they could, comfort eating, and then just bring it up so they could eat again. Some of them go the opposite way. They become anorexic. They refuse to eat. And it is very, very sad dealing with this type of emotional distress. For them to open up, they need to trust. They really need to trust. And particularly if they have been through trauma caused by somebody very close to them, it is very difficult to speak about it. The fear being that if they find out and the person is living in my house, they may throw me out. Then what am I going to do? Young, don't have a job, maybe still at school. It is extremely difficult. So parents, please need to be watchful for signs like blue marks all over the body. It might be just pinching. It might just be or even small cuts along the body. Be very, very vigilant of these things. Ask in a way that is not intrusive, that it doesn't put pressure on the child so that they go even deeper into hiding and they start lying. And professional help needs to be sought. I know there's a stigma to being in counseling, to being in a program, but before anything more serious happens, let's take action. And if the child doesn't want to open up to anybody in the household, seek professional help. It might be a little bit expensive, but it's worth a child's life. Now, what can we do inside the household? Be accommodative, don't pry, don't spy, and don't rat. For example, a sibling might see something and then run and make a story about it outside of their house, or making it look like the survivor of this trauma. Remember, if somebody has lived through the trauma, even if they haven't come on the other side yet, they're still surviving up till that point. We know that not everybody gets through it. I've unfortunately been witness to who have gone the way to the other side. Youngsters, youth as well, that we know of. In fact, one of my own students have gone because he couldn't make it through the year, couldn't speak to many, and just took the easy way out, what they think is the easy way out. Now, we as social beings, we need to try and communicate in such a way that the survivor of this trauma, going through it, walking through it with them, holding their hand without pulling them. If they go in a wrong direction, maybe just gently suggest something, ask something that is not inquisitive, that is not prying into their person, but trying to help them along. It is very difficult for someone who's going through trauma, even if it's of a very personal nature, maybe a friend or something, and it may be somebody involved with some friend that they're dealing with. So the problems that the youth face, it is something that we cannot sometimes imagine because we may not have been there. Our lives may have been smooth. So for pointers, don't pry, guide, support, don't put pressure on the person, don't put expectations for a time of being well, for a time of healing. Don't put expectations on achievement even. If the person doesn't make it through a year, we need to find a way of helping that person through and saying maybe next time, or maybe we should take a different direction, but take the pressure off. And if the person has to, just take time out, allow that. The taking of tablets, overdosing, not necessarily maybe to commit suicide, but just to take time out to sleep it off, to not be in contact with the world, to be unconscious for a while. Some survivors do that, and it can be harmful because you don't know the tolerance of your body for certain of these drugs. So on a level where the survivor is, meet them and try and hold their hand and walk them through. If you want to assist a person, ask them to just write down in their privacy, not for anybody to see. Write down the problems in their privacy, look at it, and then let them unravel it by themselves. If they feel they want to share it, then let them share, but don't push them to share. When they have written things down, and you can just check with them, did we do what we agreed upon? And if no, give time and ask the person to maybe sit down with you on a field. Sit over there, I will sit here, and you write and you do what you have to do. If you need me, I'm here. That's the only thing that they need to know, is that you're going to be there for them. Whether it's a friend, a sister, or in whatever capacity you're going to be for that person, be there. Don't put pressure on the person, and take their hand, physically even, and walk the path with them. If it involves a third person, try and find a way, maybe suggest to them something to do, but don't expect or push them to do it. If it takes time, if you think it's a good thing that will work, it may take time for the person to accept that I will do it. Or even approach the other person and ask, won't you meet us halfway? And then we try and resolve the issues. If it's an unrequited love, just be there for the person, help them, and be supportive. And hopefully lead them to professional help, suggest that professional help, sit with them if they needed to go with them, and just be there as a comforter.